With her 3 children in tow, Keontae Griffin is visiting a friend who's staying at a local Houston motel.
I was already about to get ready to leave, so me and my son, we were standing outside just talking, just goofing off. We had the door wide open, and this guy came up to us. He had a machete in his hand. And he was like, "Do you want to touch it?" So I was like, "No, it's okay, I don't want to touch it." I walked back in the room, and the guy just walks in the room, and he's just like, "I'm looking for my mom, I'm looking for my mom." And my friend, she's like, "Hey, get out of here. What are you doing in here? You don't belong here. Your mom's not in here. Get the hell up out of here." By this time, I noticed that he had a pistol in his pocket. I was just like in complete shock in the moment, like couldn't believe like it was just happening.
Fearing for the safety of her 3 children, Keontae thinks quick.
I'm licensed to carry, so I got my pistol just in case, for protection for my sons. Then he went out the room. He get maybe like 2 to 3 doors down. My friend, she started calling the office. That's when they notified the police. While they were on their way, he just had like a field day just going around the motel, just threatening people, using a machete like a sword or something.
Shortly after 2 a.m., Houston PD logged several 911 calls from terrified guests and staff at the motel. As police arrive, the man barricades himself in the room and refuses to communicate with them.
The major concern for law enforcement would be he's going to use that gun, either to take his own life or to shoot up the motel room. This person is unpredictable in every way, and we have no idea what's going to happen next.
Houston PD arrive on the scene where a man brandishing a gun and a machete has now barricaded himself inside a motel room.
In a motel, you have communal walls, so a bullet can easily go through that and kill somebody. But they know where he is. If you don't have to, don't force a confrontation. So around 6:20 a.m., SWAT decides that they're going to deploy a robo-dog, which are really useful and filled with all kinds of technology, listening devices, cameras. They're very agile and mobile.
Media outlets flock to the scene to cover the action as it unfolds.
So you see Spot, the robo-dog, approach the room. He's able to defeat the little barrier that the man has set up. At this point, the man appears, and he's completely naked.
Knowing they've got a live one on their hands, news crews vie for a glimpse of the naked man as he retreats to his motel room.
The gentleman grabs the dog, and he drags it in.
Spot, the robo-dog, has been taken hostage by a naked man. This is very expensive technology, but Spot's doing his job. He's being the eyes and the ears for the officers on the outside and letting them know exactly what's going on within that motel room.
Hoping to catch another glimpse, reporters at the scene camp out with their cameras aimed at the motel room. But the naked dog napper continues to ignore law enforcement attempts at communication. And the standoff stretches on for 8 long hours, all the way through sunrise, until finally...
The suspect opens the door to his motel room. He's now wearing shorts, and suddenly he's had enough. He simply drops down to his knees and surrenders to authorities.
The man is arrested and identified as 37-year-old Edgin Tavera. He is charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Spot, the robo-dog, is recovered unharmed. With the scene secured, the SWAT commander recounts the incident on the local news.
Human life is more valuable, and we'll put technology at risk any time that allows us to, peacefully conclude a scene like this.
I was very much worried because my kids was there. He did put a lot of people in danger, and that was unacceptable.
There was certainly the potential For things to go wrong, I have nothing but praise for how the officers handled the situation, bringing it to a successful conclusion.
He's getting ready to pass us. Dude is naked.
Jesse Fischel is trying to make his way home safely on a cold Kansas City Sunday. But that simple plan is about to be upended.
It was around 1 p.m. I was coming from the gun range. I was heading home.
We're looking at him right now.
That's creepy.
Less than an hour earlier, Forrest Bryant returns home from his mother-in-law's birthday party to find his ATV missing from his garage. He calls 911.
When I called the operator, told her I wanted to report a missing ATV, she said, by chance, is it yellow? And I said, yeah, how do you know that? And she says, well, sir, we know where your ATV is, and we're after the person that took it.
Mr. Bryant's ATV is on I-29, or to be more precise, on the median on I-29, and law enforcement units on the ground and in the air are in hot pursuit.
I mean, there's state troopers, KCPD, the sheriff's department, helicopters up.
Wow.
We weren't sure if this was a robbery that turned into a high-speed chase or murder. And then I saw a guy on an ATV come up out of the woods. I'm thinking to myself, yo, man, you don't want to be up here right now because the cops are all over the place. They might just pick you out for fun. But when he got right on the edge of the road, you could see that he had no shirt on, and then just turned into head-on traffic and floored it. And I realized he was fully naked.
That's creepy.
Swear to God, white dude, naked as a jaybird, on an ATV, running against traffic on I-29. Cops have a rolling roadblock. I swear to God, there's like 12 of them behind us. This dude is butt naked.
I was pretty shocked. And I thought to myself, I would not be naked at 30 degrees on an ATV.
Holy.
You don't often encounter a police pursuit. You certainly don't often get to see someone who's being pursued by the police on an ATV. And then to further exacerbate this already crazy situation, the suspect is completely naked.
We were averaging between 50 to 65 miles an hour.
There's cars coming full throttle at him, and they have to swerve to avoid hitting him head on. I mean, this could be seriously deadly.
What makes this police pursuit particularly dangerous is that they're chasing an individual who's driving against traffic. That means oncoming traffic may or may not be aware of what's going on in front of them. You don't know whether or not these oncoming vehicles are going to be able to avoid a collision with this car who's coming directly towards them.
He's really flying now, and responding to traffic crashes with motorcycles. The road can do terrible things in the form of road rash, and if you're naked, I wouldn't even want to see that.
You see the whole four-wheeler kind of do like a dive down and then jump back up. He had missed the gear because he was trying to accelerate forward.
He missed the gear.
And then when he finds the gear, he actually manages to accelerate.
Wow, this dude is going faster on an ATV than we can go on cars.
He ends up crashing into some railroad boxes, gets thrown from the ATV, and is apprehended by police. Before they can book and process the guy, they have to take him to the hospital.
The buck-naked ATVer is identified as 27-year-old Jonathan Menth. His injuries from the crash result in a several-day hospital stay, but that's the least of his problems. He's no stranger to law enforcement, having been arrested 5 previous times.
Earlier in the day, he had led officers on a vehicle pursuit and was able to successfully evade apprehension at that time.
The gentleman was in a stolen car and bailed out of the car and ran through the woods toward my house, which is about a mile north of where he got out of the car.
He comes across this ATV and takes officers on yet a second vehicle chase.
Given the fact that this guy has a criminal past, the victim is really lucky he wasn't home when this perpetrator broke into his property. Who knows what he was capable of?
The Clay County Prosecutor's Office charges Ment with second-degree burglary, tampering with a motor vehicle, property damage, and first-degree sexual misconduct. A $50,000 bond is set with the stipulation that, if released on bail, he cannot go out in public unless fully dressed. Ultimately, Ment pleads guilty to resisting arrest and tampering with a motor vehicle, and in March 2019 is sentenced to 3 years in jail.
Eventually, they called me and said, we have got your ATV back, and give me the location where it was at that I could come and pick it up. The ATV was a total mess.
This is the ATV that naked man rode. The owner tells me he spent $8 washing the mud off after he recovered it, but it still needs to be sanitized.
And though Forrest gets his vehicle back, he never solves the greatest mystery of all.
I have 7 acres here, and there's another 5 next to me that's vacant. So I walked the tree lines with my dog and never did find anything. So I don't know when he took his clothes off, maybe after he took the ATV, or it might have been before.
Dude is naked.
This would take the top tier, most shocking thing I'd ever seen in my life. I've seen a lot of shocking things, but nothing quite this shocking.
This dude is butt naked.